Hiya, welcome to episode 216 of Green Herb Gaming, a very special edition of Green Herb Gaming. I am celebrating the Mortal Kombat series. Mortal Kombat series has been a part of my life ever since I was like 4 or 5 years old. One of the first video games I ever played was Mortal Kombat on the Sega Master System. So this video is just a celebration of all things Mortal Kombat. So I'm going to talk about some of my favorite Mortal Kombat games. I'm going to talk about, some of the iconic moments in the series. I'm just going to talk everything about Mortal Kombat. So in celebration of Mortal Kombat, we are going to keep things classic. We're going to do towers, because this is how it was back in the day. So we're going to do traditional towers. Okay, I'm just getting my YouTube stream loaded on my phone here. DLA! What up? Yo, yo, yo. Hello, DLA. Thank you for checking out episode 216 of Green Herb Gaming. In this stream, I am celebrating all things Mortal Kombat, so it should be interesting. So I'm starting out by playing traditional towers, because the towers are such an iconic feature of the Mortal Kombat series. Long before Mortal Kombat had cinematic campaigns, and even in the PS2 games, when Mortal Kombat had like story mode in Conquest, tower modes were the modes to go to. Yeah, traditional towers. Let's do this. I'm doing way too much I'm over explaining traditional towers, but so we're going to keep things traditional, classic spelled with a K. I'm actually going to go as a fighter that I haven't actually played as, not played as in a long time. Like a classic. I'm going to go as Raiden. And I'm going to choose Thunder God, because Raiden is the Thunder God. Medium. We'll keep the difficulty medium. And I'm eating a bowl of porridge as well as I'm playing, as you do. Hello, C. Welcome to episode 216 of Green Herb Gaming. Great to have you on the stream. This stream we're celebrating all things Mortal Kombat.
You have no hope, Thunder God.
I always have hope.
That is why you will fail.
Round one.
So let's talk about these two characters here, shall we? So Raiden, of course, is the god of thunder and lightning and protector of Earth Realm. So the Elder Gods, assigned Raiden. Oh man, me too. We got two Porridge fans in the house, myself and DLA. Yeah, man, it's actually one of the nicest. It's not a cereal, is it? It's one of the nicest. One of the nicest things you can eat anyway in the morning. Beautiful altogether. So that's what I'm doing. I'm eating porridge at the same time. So I'm gonna look at my moveset as I'm eating the porridge. So Raiden. Raiden was assigned by the Elder Gods to protect Earth Realm, make sure that Earth Realm was just protected from invasions and stuff like that. You're eating pancakes, lovely. Oh man, lovely. I wouldn't mind a pancake right now, to be honest. So it's Raiden's job to protect Earth Realm, and he's also the god of thunder. So if you mess with Raiden, he will electrocute you. So don't mess with Raiden. So that's just a little bit about Raiden, really. And a long time ago, Raiden, he defeated Shinnok, the falling Elder God. Not that you would. I care. I care that you're eating pancakes. I do. I care about you eating pancakes. Oh my god, I'm going to over-explain things in this stream. My apologies. So Quan Chi, moving on. So Quan Chi was Shinnok's assistant. Shinnok, the fallen elder god. So Raiden and Quan Chi would have had plenty of battles back in the day. Oh, the granny attack. Love it. I meant that I'm a... Oh, no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Do not provoke the elder... Oh, not the elder. Just pause it again because I'm eating my porridge. So that's it's actually called in this game Electric Fly. Has many different names, Electric Fly. But when Raiden flies from one end of the screen to the other end of the screen, one of the most iconic moves of Raiden, apart from his, of course, his electricity as well, obviously. I mean. How do I just do in a normal, what you call it? Rising Thunder? No. Electrocute, vicinity blast. I want to do like a normal blast of electricity, but I can't do that. Can't I do that now? Rising Thunder would be. Interesting fact. Raiden's song of all time is Thunder by Imagine Dragons. Only joking. But you never know, it could be. So Raiden has been keeping Earthrealm safe for thousands and thousands of years.
Finish him.
Oh. Forward, back, forward, square. Shit, I fucked up. Yep.
Raiden wins.
I can see that Raiden is the kind of thunder god who takes no shit from no one. And next we're facing Sonya Blade. Raiden and Sonya Blade, two classic combatants of the Mortal Kombat series. Both made their debut in the original Mortal Kombat.
Are you following me?
Maybe.
Our meeting is coincidental.
It's about to get violent.
Round 1, fight.
Of course it's going to get violent. Violence is the staple of the Mortal Kombat series. It was like Mortal Kombat became the center of controversy when it released first. I like Sonya, her moves are sick. Yeah, especially when she like what she call it, like grabs the opponent's neck with her feet and slams them down. I forget what it's called now again, but yeah, she's got amazing moves. But when Mortal Kombat released in the early 90s, even before it came to consoles, when it originally launched on arcades, the level of that move that I was talking about, the level of controversy was absolutely amazing, like unreal. Like, I mean, parents were outraged, you know, government officials were outraged. Frag and the first frag grenade. Yeah, she's like military kind of like kick-ass type of fighter. So Mortal Kombat is extremely violent. I mean, fatalities, the gore. I mean, games like that were never really seen before, you know, before Mortal Kombat got launched. So it shocked a lot of people. And this was a time before the age rating system, so there wasn't really any age rating system back then. You know, like the general consensus was, you know, kids play video games, and like the general consensus was, no matter what the game was, it was for kids. But when parents saw the level of violence in Mortal Kombat, they were like, "Whoa, this is not for my kid. My kid cannot be playing this." So lots of controversy, lots of court cases and everything. It eventually led to there being an age rating. So now Mortal Kombat is, as you can see, this is the kind of violence I'm talking about.
Rated wins.
So the game is now rated, in America it's M for mature, and in Europe it's rated 18s plus. So that's a little bit of history behind, you know, the controversy surrounding its violence and gore. Like with every video I do, I never plan it, so I didn't plan this video, so it's pretty much all over the place, really. Trying to kind of pick out things to speak of. I think the biggest thing I want to highlight in this celebration video of Mortal Kombat is just how far Mortal Kombat has come over the years, and just how relevant the series remains. Like 25 years later, 30 years later, or how many years later? I actually don't know how many years later, but it's well over 20 years anyway. Just how relevant, just how popular, just how mainstream Mortal Kombat remains all these years later, and just how far, you know, the technology has come, the kind of things you can do now in Mortal Kombat, the kind of characters are in Mortal Kombat. I mean, whoever thought we'd see Raiden fighting Alien? I mean, no, that's all down to the fact that Warner Brothers are now the publishers of the Mortal Kombat series. But being able to pick up like a flaming barrel and throw it, you know, at your opponent, you know, things like that. Among other things, it's just so cool to see just how far the series has come.
Raiden wins. Fatality.
Almost finished eating my bowl of porridge. So opponent 4 is Sub-Zero, another classic combatant of the Mortal Kombat series. The Man of Ice.
You attack me, Thunder God?
It pains me to combat you.
The cold will numb your pain.
Round 1. Fight.
Oh, have some of that, Sub-Zero. Now you can see Sub-Zero looks a little bit... For anybody who hasn't played Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat 10, they may be asking themselves, why is Sub-Zero... Why does he look different? He looks a bit more evil. He's a baddie, as they would say. Well, that's because of another interesting thing that I want to talk about, is how the Mortal Kombat series has evolved as of late. And evolved it has. You see, now I've spoken about this numerous times in my videos. I'll try to keep it to the point and as short as possible. When Mortal Kombat Armageddon on PS2 and Xbox launched, the series had come so far in terms of progressing the story, progressing the gameplay. Like, we're talking about Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, and all the other versions of Mortal Kombat 3. We're talking Mortal Kombat Trilogy. We're talking about Mortal Kombat 4. We're talking about Mortal Kombat Gold. We're talking about Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. We're talking about Mortal Kombat Deception. So by the time Mortal Kombat Armageddon came out, like, talking numerous games in the series, and so much had been done in the series So a lot of people would have asked, well, what's next for the series? Is this it? What else can be done? All the realms have more or less been conquered and destroyed. All the combatants have pretty much fought each other. All the rivalries in the world have been, you know, we've seen those rivalries. What can be done next was the question that would have been asked. So, you know, at the end of Mortal Kombat Armageddon, pretty much it appears that it's pretty much over.
Outworld is the play.
However, that's not what happened. The Mortal Kombat series, as I said, evolved. So when Ed Boon, co-creator of Mortal Kombat, and his team at NetherRealm Studios, developed the next Mortal Kombat game after Armageddon, the first Mortal Kombat game to appear on PS3 and 360, well, they all decided to evolve the series by essentially pressing the reset button and going back to the start. And they did that in such a cool and effective way, because the opening of Mortal Kombat 9, or it's literally called Mortal Kombat, but a lot of people just call it Mortal Kombat 9 to try to make sense of, you know, of the order of the game, like of how many Mortal Kombat games have been released, you know. But I just prefer the name Mortal Kombat because that's the idea that, you know, Ed Boon and NetherRealm Studios had. They just wanted it to be a reboot. They wanted it to go back to the start. That's what it is. So it's Mortal Kombat. That's what it is. The opening sees the end of Mortal Kombat Armageddon, and it sees Raiden, this guy right here, about to be annihilated by Shao Kahn, his arch nemesis. So he's just literally about to die, but then something happens, and his mind goes all the way back to the past, and all of a sudden he's not lying there about to be annihilated by Shao Kahn at the end of Mortal Kombat Armageddon, but he's actually standing there at the beginning of the first Mortal Kombat tournament with these visions, fragmented visions in his mind.
Why do you confront me?
And Raiden is there, and Johnny Cage is there, and they're like, what's wrong, Raiden? Remember now, this is all the way back to the first Mortal Kombat tournament, and Raiden is like, I do not know, but I know we have to change the future, or something like that. So Raiden proceeds to do just that. He tries to change, change the present, essentially, change things so the outcome of the future will be different. And that is the biggest evolution in the series, because you get to look at Mortal Kombat 1, 2 and 3, but from a whole different perspective. There are things that happen in Mortal Kombat 1 that never happened, and Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 3. You get to see the death of Raiden, you get to see the death of Kitana, you just get to see so much that you never saw in the original Mortal Kombat games. So by the end of that game, Mortal Kombat, stories had been affected, characters had been affected, just a lot of different things happened. And that brings us to Mortal Kombat X. You know, and that's why Sub-Zero back there was actually evil, because he actually died and became a slave of Quan Chi. So that was such a huge evolution for the Mortal Kombat series. And I think it's the biggest reason why Mortal Kombat is so relevant in today's, you know, day of today's age of gaming. As if you've got people from all walks of life, from all ages, playing this game. I was actually quite amazed. I was quite shocked that that was the case. I really believe that hardcore Mortal Kombat fan base that was kind of keeping the game relevant. But there's a lot of newcomers to the series, which I always find amazing, to be honest with you. So yeah, the evolution of the Mortal Kombat series is just one of the best ways really for me to celebrate this Mortal Kombat series. It's why I actually wanted to celebrate this series, why I wanted to do this video. Just highlight the amazing evolution of the series. So Mortal Kombat X is a lot of newcomers to the series as well, including Devora. She's actually a servant of Shinnok. She's actually been a long time servant of Shinnok, but she disguises herself as, you know, somebody who's been serving Kotal Khan. And she's like this insect or bug character. So, yeah, Mortal Kombat series. Been playing since I was 4 years of age. And I've pretty much played every game in the series, every major game in the series. There's only 1 or 2 games I haven't played, but I wouldn't consider them major games. Like, I never had the opportunity to play Mortal Kombat Gold on Dreamcast, but it's more or less Mortal Kombat 4, but you have the option to play it as Goro, and I think there's 1 character as well they added in as well. Other than that, it's Mortal Kombat 4 on the Sega Dreamcast. I never played the Mortal Kombat game on the, was it PS Vita, but that's more or less Mortal Kombat Deception. I think there was a Mortal Kombat game as well on Game Boy Advance. I forget what game that was actually. But yeah, just a couple of like
energy, okay?
kind of like not spin-offs, but just kind of, I don't know, I would just say irrelevant Mortal Kombat games. No disrespect to the series, but like I played Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3. I even played Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I played Mortal Kombat Trilogy. I actually played 2 versions of that. I played the one on the N64 and the one on the PS1. I played Mortal Kombat 4, I played Mortal Kombat Deadly Lines, I played Mortal Kombat Deception, Armageddon, Mortal Kombat, which is essentially Mortal Kombat 9. Mortal Kombat 9. And I have actually playing Mortal Kombat 10 right now, so I've played a lot of Mortal Kombat games in my time. I think what makes the series so good for me is the combination of its gameplay and its story as well, because I think if you look at fighting games, like if you look at Street Fighter, like Street Fighter would have been Mortal Kombat's, you know, biggest rival. But I just don't think that Street Fighter has the same level of storytelling that Mortal Kombat does. Like I think they just don't focus on story as much as not that Mortal Kombat focuses on story, but I just think Mortal Kombat has the better story is what I'm trying to say basically.
Final round.
Ah, this is a shit stream. My apologies about that. Although you might be just sitting there watching and thinking, "Oh, this is a great stream. What are you saying, Johnny?" But I don't know. In my head, I'm just feeling this stream is shit. I'm feeling like I'm half asleep, but I'm not actually. I can't get the words out.
Get up, get down.
But nonetheless, this is a celebration of Mortal Kombat. If you look at games, if you look at some of the most popular games right now, they would be, you know, I would say at the top you would have Fortnite. I mean, Fortnite is such a huge game right now. You know, so many people are playing that game right now. You know, so many people are talking about that game right now. So is you know, games like Rocket League, games like Minecraft, you know, that I'm playing right now. I may have noticed there was a word, there was 2 words I continued to repeat it there, and that was right now. You see, what I really respect and love about the Mortal Kombat series is Mortal Kombat X launched in the 90s.
Have little hope of victory.
Okay, 20 years ago. And it is still around. People are still playing Mortal Kombat. Hell, you know, apart from the fact that they're playing the latest Mortal Kombat game, Mortal Kombat 11, there's people that are still playing the original Mortal Kombat game. So, for a series that has been around for over 20 years, for it to be still relevant, for it to be still popular, for people to be still playing it, is amazing. And I highly doubt that in 20 years' time, people will still even know what Fortnite was. Because Fortnite will get replaced by the next kind of big thing in those style of games. I would like to call them they are phases. There might be a very long phase, but nonetheless they're still phases. If you look at Bebo, how long did Bebo last until Facebook replaced it? Think about that. How long did let me see. Like, there's just people right now that don't even use Facebook Messenger that much, they just use Snapchat. Things get replaced. It just happens. What other games now that I'm thinking of? It's just different. Like, Fortnite is different. Fortnite will get replaced, and Fortnite will become irrelevant. Not anytime soon, don't get me wrong. Not anytime soon, that was the way things are going. Some people say that when Black Ops 4, you know, comes up with a Battle Royale, that it will kill Fortnite. But I think what will just happen there is... it's going to impact Fortnite, no doubt about it. But I think what will happen there is more people will just talk about Black Ops 4, but there will still be people playing Fortnite.
Round 1.
You know?
Fight.
But my point anyway is, yes, Fortnite is a big game, but it's also a free game as well, which is probably the biggest reason why it's so big. The thing is, there are people like who for 30 years, almost 30 years anyway, there are people who have been putting their blood, sweat and tears and money and lives into making Mortal Kombat such a great game for like 20 years straight. The same people. I mean, Ed Boon is still working on Mortal Kombat, and most of his like colleagues are still working on the series 30 years later. That series is still around to this day. People are still talking about that series to this day. Excuse me. And I just think that's absolutely amazing, and it's something I want to celebrate too. Is the longevity of the series. Again, there was no way in hell that Fortnite would be around in 20 years time. It's just not gonna happen. Like there's more of a chance of me becoming bigger than PewDiePie. You know, there's more of a chance of me becoming bigger than PewDiePie than Fortnite being relevant in 20 years time.
Final round. Fight.
And that's not me bashing Fortnite. I have Fortnite, I play Fortnite, I enjoy Fortnite. But I'm just really saying it as it is. I mean, I think anybody who has the balls to admit it, you know, and it just, you know, just has the balls to admit, like, and the intelligence to admit it, like, will actually agree with me. It will not be around in 20 years' time. Like, I think what you're gonna have when Black Ops 4 comes out, okay? I think what you're gonna have is you're gonna have a separation. You're gonna have a separation from the bandwagon players. The bandwagon players who were like, oh, what's this thing called Fortnite? I better check it out. Well, those people, they're gonna move away. Because bandwagon players, phase players as I call them, you know, people who just take part in the latest trend, the latest phase, to make themselves relevant, to make themselves feel like that they fit in, that they belong. Oh, I better play Fortnite because it's the big game that everyone is talking about. You're going to have those people, okay, who will no longer play Fortnite. Then we'll move on to Black Ops 4. And then you will have the genuine fans of Fortnite, the people who looked at Fortnite and didn't just play it because they wanted to fit in. didn't play it because everyone else was playing it. They played it because they continued to play it because they were like, whoa, I like this game. This game's absolutely amazing. I'm going to get, you know, entangled in this game. I'm going to improve my skills in this game. I'm going to become a pro at this game and even buy merchandise. You know, I know people who actually have bought merchandise for Fortnite, and those are the real Fortnite fans. Those are actually the real Fortnite fans. But I just think, like, there is going to be that split. There is going to be, like, Fortnite will no longer become a phase. Like, basically, when Black Ops 4 comes out, Fortnite will no longer be a phase. Hello, ProChronicsVlogz. Hello to you, sir. Good morning, buddy. How are things? Really appreciate that. My comment section, it seems to be working properly again now again. But so I was just saying there, I was talking about Mortal Kombat and how it's still around 20 years later. That's what I was talking about there. And I think like, I don't think Fortnite will be around in 20 years time. When Black Ops 4 comes out, you're going to have like a separation. You're going to have people who play Fortnite because it was a phase, because it was the big thing that everybody was doing. They're going to move on to the next thing, which will be Black Ops 4. But then you'll have the real Fortnite fans. You know, the Fortnite fans who continue to play Fortnite because they genuinely like it, and because they're genuinely interested in it. But I think no matter what though, I don't think that Fortnite will be around in 20 years time. Like, I don't even think anybody will remember Fortnite in 20 years time. But nonetheless, this is a celebration of Mortal Kombat. And we're doing classic traditional powers in celebration of Mortal Kombat. So Shinnok is an iconic villain in the Mortal Kombat series, and it's great to see him back in Mortal Kombat X because if you think about it, like, we've seen a lot of Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung over the years in the series, but we never really kind of got to see much of Shinnok. I mean, he was the villain in Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero and the villain in Mortal Kombat 4, but that's pretty much where it ended. Where it ended there.
Shinnok wins.
Rematch. I'm just looking at my stream there. I don't know, my stream could be acting up again. I'm like seeing 1 or 2 messages, and that seems to be where it ends. What's new in my broadcasts? Let's retry.
Final round, fight!
But I always like to see games that are still around, you know. You know, if you look at games like Mario, you look at games like Mortal Kombat, you look at games like Final Fantasy. It's mostly they've changed Final Fantasy. Sometimes not for the better, to be honest. But I just think, in particular, I'm just trying to think now off the top of my head. In particular, I would say Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat is it's still made by the same guy, like Ed Boon, the same guy who made the original Mortal Kombat. It's still around, making Mortal Kombat to this day, and it's still relevant, like, and I like that in games, you know. I don't bash Fortnite, but I'm just saying it as it is. Like, that game would not be around in 20 years time. People will not remember that game in 20 years time. I'm sure you can find trends and phases like Fortnite. If you stop, I'll give you a perfect example. No, not that these games are not remembered. Of course they're remembered. Oh my god. But if you look at games like Space Invaders, okay, games like Pac-Man, absolutely huge games in their time. In fact, I was actually reading a very interesting article in a magazine that I got, Retro Gamer. Okay, it's all about retro games. Well, they were talking about the 40th anniversary of Space Invaders, and just how huge that game was when it released. And it actually reminded me of the Fortnite kind of like phenomenon that we have here. Like there was parents who were like saying, "Oh, my kids have changed. They're not themselves anymore. They're obsessed with Hello, Murray King. How are you? They were on about just how massive this game was and how it was pretty much controlling their kids' lives. And there was even things where, you know, there was talk that you could only have like one arcade in one premises, and it was just crazy. It was just a huge game, and everybody was playing it. Now, yes, people are still talking about Space Invaders. Yes, it's still something that people remember. But, where is Pac-Man in 2018? Where is Space Invaders in 2018? Apart from, you know, an iOS version or best of arcade version. Like, where is the Super Mario Odyssey of Pac-Man? Where is the Mortal Kombat X of Pac-Man? Where is the Final Fantasy 15 of Pac-Man? Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, where is the latest game in the series, and does it enter the charts? Does it break any records? Does it, you know, it doesn't. And I really feel that's what Fortnite will become in 20 years' time. I think people will remember it for being such an innovative multiplayer game, you know, and an innovative concept, and how big it was. But it would certainly not be still like a major game that people will be playing in 20 years' time. That's all I wanted to kind of touch upon there. I just think that's the biggest thing I celebrate for Mortal Kombat is just how it's still around and how it's still relevant. How it isn't just something that people talk about. You know, as, oh, this was great back in the 90s. Well, it was great back in the 90s, and it's great in the 2018s, because and the great thing about it is how people still play classic Mortal Kombat games while they play Mortal Kombat 9. Like, yeah, I can, you know, find an old arcade and play Pac-Man and say what a great game it is, but there's no like Pac-Man X, or, you know, like, there's no latest Pokemon game in the series. Pokemon, let's say Pac-Man, please Christ. Pokemon is another one. I mean, Pokemon came out in the early 90s, and it's more relevant now than it's ever been. You stop to think about that. Mortal Kombat is more relevant now than it's ever been. And Pokemon. I love Raiden's ending here. It really sets up the tone for the next game.
Of fending off Earthrealm's enemies, Raiden began to wonder if defense was the best path to peace. In a change of tactics, Raiden and the Shirai Ryu attacked Kotal Khan's armies before they could rebuild. They decimated the Emperor's forces, leaving Outworld at their mercy.
I have a theory.
Victorious Raiden claimed dominion over Outworld. The first of many threats to Earthrealm had been removed.
Think about that. Raiden has claimed dominion over Outworld. I actually spoke about this in one of my previous videos. I actually forgot the entire ending there. It's kind of pity I didn't know the ending back then, because I would have made my point even more valid. I was talking to Black Knight the Gamer about it, actually. My theory for the next Mortal Kombat game is, well, first of all, everything you thought you knew about Mortal Kombat is going to be changed forever. That was even obvious in Mortal Kombat X, you could see that anyway. Like, you know, it was pretty clear. I mean, you have like Katana and Liu Kang being the new leaders of the Netherrealm. You know, it was pretty obvious. Everything you thought you knew about Mortal Kombat would be changed in Mortal Kombat X. But specifically, I'm making a theory regarding Raiden and regarding like who's the good guy and who's the bad guy and stuff like that. You just saw there, Raiden has claimed dominion over Outworld. That means he now rules Outworld. Raiden is the ruler of Outworld. And he more or less like slaughtered Outworld, more or less slaughtered Kotal Khan and his forces and just completely invaded Outworld. And it was the first of many threats to Earthrealm. Now, what does Raiden view as a threat to Earthrealm? What does he view as a threat? You know, that's the question you've got to ask yourself. You know, what is a threat to Earthrealm? How far will he? Sorry. How far will he take this? That's what you've got to ask yourself. So, my theory is that Raiden is going to be, all intents and purposes, the bad guy. He's going to become the new Shao Kahn. And I think there's going to be a character. I think there's going to be a new character introduced. I think it's going to be an Outworld resident, Jesus Christ, Outworld national, whatever you want to say, person from Outworld. And I think he's going to hold a massive grudge against Raiden, because I think that he may have I think Raiden may have killed like a member of his family as a result of him having dominion over Outworld, and he's going to see Earthrealm and he's going to see Raiden as a threat. And I think it's going to give a very interesting kind of perspective. I think it's going to make this new character out to be a good guy, and it's going to make Raiden out to be a bad guy, and I think it's going to make things very, very interesting indeed. So I think that's where the stream ends. My fucking broadcast hasn't fixed. I thought it was fixed, but it's not. I'm pretty sure that there's more comments that are trying to show up. I think what happens is I could stand here for 2 hours trying to make sense of what's happening, and I wouldn't be able to succeed. You know, I have no idea what's happening. I don't know. But I'm not seeing all comments. I'm not seeing all comments, which is fucking, it's annoying, but hey, what can you do, you know? But nonetheless, thank you everyone who watched, especially ProChronicsVlogz. Big shout out to ProChronicsVlogz. I'm just gonna make another video after this. And it's going to be an interesting video. I think you might want to check out this video, because it's going to be the most important video that I've ever made. Ever. Literally, for the most important video I've ever made, even before YouTube. Just literally anything that I've ever recorded myself saying. This is the most important of them all. So, with that, I know I got one viewer. I know I have one viewer currently listening to my voice right now. So, sit tight. Stick around, because I'm going to be uploading another video very shortly, literally within a minute.